Welcome to Comic Core Daily. I'm your host, Drew Manchu, and this is my show. Well, it's your show. Really, it's our show. It's our show, folks. It's our show where we can get together daily on the Comic Core and fulfill the second half, what I'm calling the long box lunch break. Now, JB botches it all the time. So it's good that I botched it too. That way we can get on the same page. Long box lunch hour, long box lunch break. Some people were complaining that the West Coast isn't eating lunch yet. So I decided that when we have people on the West Coast, they can hashtag it the long box brunch buddies. I got a guest host today. He is the second time guest. He's going to be helping us out a little bit. I just hit him up literally like 14 seconds ago, and he's coming through in the clutch. John's Comics with Kids. John, how you doing this fine Wednesday?
I'm a brunch buddy, man. Let's brunch up.
Hey, what's going on, Charlie?
Nothing really.
Are you enjoying your quarantine?
No, she would way rather be at school. She wants to play soccer and run around with her friends.
You can play soccer in the backyard.
Deal with annoying boys.
Yeah, it's true.
You're a man.
Just one. All right, you get back to your math.
But you're a man.
All right, sorry.
John's Comics with Kids is here. If you go back and you rewatch yesterday's episode when John was hanging out, as soon as he came in, you'll notice a card popped up above his head that would send you to his channel. And the special message read, Charlie and Kate's dad. So there he is, being a dad. Good to have you here today. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the chat before we get rolling with segments. You know how I love segments. But before that, I'm going to run down a little bit of what we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about the Hugo Awards today for science fiction. The nominees were announced for the comic book category. So I kind of want to go over that and see how that goes. I've got some binge-worthy television series that I'm going to be counting down for you, folks. Comic book television series that you can watch while you're all cooped up in the house with nothing better to do but eat Hot Pockets and get on your streaming devices. We're going to go ahead and shout out one of our community members via Instagram, and it's one of my favorite new members of the community. If you like Star Trek and you like guys who yell all the time, he's perfect for you. You're going to love it. And we got a question of the day, which is going to give you the opportunity to enter our giveaway. Real simple stuff there, guys. In the chat right now, I got some Comic Book Hunter is in there. Patrick Kelly is in there as well. No Good Comics. That's a new channel for me. No Good Comics. What's going on, No Good Comics? I'm going to have to sub you up. Knights of Old is in here as well. Says, good morning. It's midday here on the East Coast, or the real coast, I like to call it. Real time. Sorry for anybody out of the loop there.
No Good Comics, great Instagram. You should definitely sub them on, follow them on Instagram. Really, really great.
Maybe they'll be the mystery Instagram tag of the day tomorrow. Backseat Driver and I were just having a nice conversation via the comments section about Secret Empire, which is a series that I loved. He hated, and I'm trying to give some love to. So maybe I'll do it. I'll start doing a Secret Empire review a day as part of this show. Great Legend Show is in the chat. He's binging Man in the High Castle. That's based on a novel, though, not a comic book, right?
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Novel.
What a novel concept. Gomer, what's going on? My buddy over there on the S&B network. Find him on a Comic Cast every Sunday night, talking comics. I believe talking Saga this week. Saga. Since there's no new comics coming out, we're going to talk Saga. Rob Boswell, good to see you. Smuggler's Bounty shirt, John, the AT-AT. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, gang, that's enough of you. Let's get to me and my segments. All right, our first segment, you know it, you love it. The studio audience is going to be enthused. It's Nerd News. The Hugo Award nominees for greatness in science fiction literature. Man, some really great past award winners. some fantastic series have been honored by the Hugo Awards. And I kind of want to get into their nominees for comic book or graphic novel or graphic story. I forget how they word it. Maybe it's printed here on my next card. Best graphic story or comic. And there's some really, really great options on here to choose from for the voters on this award. Number one being Die Volume 1, Fantasy Heartbreaker. I know you're a big fan of Die, John. Kieran Gillen is killing it on this. I think that he did much better work in some other series that he worked on this year. But Stephanie Hahn's art is like so great, in my opinion. Like one of my drawbacks for this book is that sometimes the art is just too pretty for the story they're telling. But that's volume 1 is definitely a must read. That is a recent must read. So I would definitely suggest, you guys haven't given Die Volume 1 a chance, definitely give it a shot. The reviews that I've heard from the community range from, yeah, that was pretty good, to it's the greatest thing that ever happened to anything ever. So that, you know, the worst review being, it's pretty good, it means it's probably pretty solid. And I think probably a shoe-in for this award. There is one on here that I think is my favorite, but I think Die will probably take it home. LaGuardia, written by Needy Okafor, with the art by Tana Ford. I have not read, nor have I even looked into, but it's one of those burger books, and I know everybody loved. What was her name? Karen? Is that her name, John? Karen Berger?
I don't know.
I think that's her name. She's not going to watch this, so if I botch her name, I don't think anybody's going to care. But she was running Vertigo for the longest time, and she's doing her thing over there at Dark Horse now. And they've gotten a lot of press for the creators and the vision that they have over there. And I haven't really dug into it, so that's something that I maybe need to check out. I'm going to put LaGuardia on my reading list because it was nominated for this award. Monstrous. Monstrous, I know you guys just read Monstrous Volume 1 on Book Club.
And I've got the whole run, so I'm looking forward to getting through Volume 4.
I'm kind of waiting for it to get brought up on Modern Men via the poll and get some love there, because I have it. I have Volume 1. I haven't read it, and it seems like that was the thing with a lot of people in the community, is like, oh, I have that. Have you read it? I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Exactly.
So, and I was happy you guys got to it. It seems like something I'll enjoy, and the art, the Takata, the art, and it's just that it's so detailed and absolutely wonderful. Mooncakes by Oni Press, Wendy Zhu, and Suzanne Walker. And I know nothing about that, and I've never heard about it. I don't get a whole lot of Oni Press like in my purview. Nothing really comes up about them that really, ever catches my attention. But I know they've been doing their thing for a long time, and they were doing manga as well. Manga reprints is how they started, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about Mooncakes. So Mooncakes is going to go on the list of things that I'm going to go ahead and give a Google and figure out if it's something that maybe in this downtime, it's a, award nominated. I might as well give it a shot.
I didn't know if that was a thing. Give it a Google.
Give it a Google. Yeah. I give them all a Google. I use Bing because I'm an asshole. No, I don't use Bing. I might be an asshole, but I don't use Bing. Paper Girls Volume 6. What's that?
You say Bing the stuffing out of it.
Paper Girls Volume 6. I loved this. I thought that this was a really great draw to conclusion for Brian K. Vaughan's time traveling story. It's basically a coming of age, coming to reckon with your own true self kind of tale. And it was really great, and it wrapped up in a perfect ending that is just, you avoid the time travel paradox, and it's just beautiful. Cliff Chang does great art in this. It's like a pop art style. Matt Wilson's colors just kind of bathe kind of a monochromatic feel on each panel in a way that just really brings the whole thing to life. And I really enjoyed it. And I think that this, out of the listed in this category, I think is the best, even though I haven't read a few of them. Wicked and
I gotta
Divine
check that
Volume
out.
9. That's Kieran Gillen as well. He's getting
Yeah.
double love on this. And the thing is, Once and Future doesn't make the list. I mean, come on. Well, I mean,
How many
it's a
issues
science fiction thing, not a fantasy
don't know how
thing.
many
But
issues were published for Once and Future before the deadline. They may not have finished a full volume, you know?
that's true. Now, there's a few on here that aren't on here that I feel are getting snubbed for a science fiction story being told this year. And I think that Donnie Cates isn't getting the love that he deserves for Silver Surfer Black.
Yes.
And Trad Moore's art was so goddamn beautiful in a way that you didn't expect. It's like, hey, Kirby, want to do acid? It's so great. I loved it. And it was kind of, it was Trad Moore's love letter to Jack Kirby. At the same time, it was Donny Cates' love letter to Stan Lee. And I think that as a science fiction story, it stands on its own outside of the Marvel Universe, and it's also transformatively powerful to the continuity of the Marvel Universe at the same time. Masterful. And if you have the opportunity to get your hands on that oversized edition, oh my gosh, it's just so great. Every splash page is just mind-numbingly brilliant. It's just like you look at it and you almost go into a vegetative state.
If
John,
it was on this list, I would have voted for it too.
John, is there any science fiction tales that you read this year that you think belong on this list?
I think that there were a bunch of great reads that came out of the Boom Studios label this year. So things like Strange Skies Over East Berlin, I think is
That's a good one.
under talked about, like underrated and under discussed title. And it would have finished before this list came out. I don't know if Something's Killing the Children would have come in under the wire if they finished their first storyline before this list. But I really, really loved that one as well. And
those are all great suggestions. And that, there you're holding up that beautiful Silver Surfer Black right there.
Yeah, I gave this to Kate last night to check out just because I was like, you're gonna be blown away by these pictures, the way the art is done. Like you were saying, those spread pages where they couldn't look better, could not look better.
Right. I thought it was great, and I thought that there's really high concept kind of world creation in there, and that would be perfect for a science fiction award like the Hugo.
Absolutely.
We're going to move on from nerd news, and we're going to start our next segment off with a bang. If you guys are fans of science fiction, then you'll be fans of a wonderful series I like to call Star Trek. It's a franchise that's branched out into many, many, many different avenues. We've got several different movies, television shows, web series, and comic books. And who do I know that talks about Star Trek comic books? Scarpad's Comic Treks. This guy has some great filter game on the Instagram. If you want to hear a guy yell expletives about stuff, check out Scarpad. He's got a great YouTube channel. I love finding him on live streams late at night. He's always great. He set up some great filters, and every one of these cracked me up. Scarpad's Comic Treks does a YouTube channel as well. The link is in the description below. He likes to talk about Star Trek comics. It's pretty great. There he is right there looking very dapper. Look at Dapper Scarpad. You guys love that Scarpad. Hit a Dapper Scarpad. Hashtag Dapper Scarpad all over the place. There he is. Kirk style, sitting in the captain's chair. And my favorite Scarpad Instagram picture of recent date, Scarpad Exotic. Scarpad's Comics Treks on the Instagram. Follow him. Sub him up on the YouTube. He's a hilarious guy. He's always great. I always love running into him in chats. Good people. The Scarpad. And that was cool stuff that I found on Instagram. What's that?
His link is in the chat as well. I just dropped it in.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about doing work. John, I appreciate it. Thank you. I told John he can just show up whenever he wants, and I'll just do all the heavy lifting. But here he is, being a great moderator, being a great co-host, checking in on the chat. Now, before we go to commercial break, I want to check in on the chat. Biggie Shack's in here. What's going on, Biggie Shack? Fish Tropic. Seawood loves your Fish Tropic, and we do too. Magoo Fitzmartyr.
Some comic book hunter mentioned that 4 of the 6 graphic novels on your list from Hugo were all Image. And so his comment was there was not a real diversity of publisher going on there.
That's true. There wasn't. I've been, you know what? It's not all out yet, so I won't even spoil it. But I got a preview copy when we reviewed it for the comic cast of Canopus. And I think that was great. At first, I wasn't into the art, but the further I went into it, I was just like, oh no, this is just masterful. So I believe that the first 2 issues are available to the public. So when comics come back, guys, get yourself some Canopus. That was really
nice.
Cool.
And then Misexplained mentioned that there's a Silver Surfer reissue of the Silver Surfer Black Special Edition maybe coming out, and he's hoping it's going to be a hardcover. So,
Downright Nerdy Podcast. Downright Nerdy Podcast, folks, will be joining me tomorrow. He will be joining me tomorrow as my guest on this show. Heroinberg is in the chat. Gomer shouted out Canopus. We reviewed that together. It was really good. Sup, Biggie Shack says some comic book hunter. Everybody's in the chat. Everybody's having a good time. And I hate to put a damper on everybody's good time, gang. I really hate to put a damper on it. But we've got some paid promotional messages that we just need to get to. We got some business to attend to, folks. So if you can just bear with us, we're going to be right back after these commercial messages. This is Andy.
Excitement's building.
This is Thursday.
I'm nervous. Breathe with me, guys.
And this is Andy on Thursday. That's right, we gave Andy his own show.
No way. No way.
Yes way, Andy.
Holy sheet.
Holy sheet indeed. Andy Given Thursday. Live every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on the Comic Core. In a world where every fan convention is being canceled or postponed, and social distance must be maintained, one convention refused to back down. One convention evolved to become something more. MainframeComicCon. April 25th and 26th, an absolutely free 2-day online interactive con experience that you can enjoy right from the comfort and safety of your own home. Celebrity guest interviews, comic industry professionals, cosplay contests, and so much more. Check out the website at MainframeComicCon.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at MainframeComicCon for our ever-growing list of guests and emerging schedule of events. That's April 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday, 2 days, absolutely free. MainframeComicCon. We're bringing the convention to you. Hey, Comic Core viewers. Do you want a free mystery box of comics? Well, that's good because we're having a giveaway. It's super easy to enter. Just leave a comment on any Comic Core Daily video answering the question of the day. Want extra entries? Well, you can vote in the Modern Men poll each week and leave a comment explaining your choice. This giveaway is open only to U.S. residents 18 and up, and you must be subscribed to the Comic Core. We'll compile all the entries and spin the wheel on the Friday, April 24th episode of Comic Core Roundtable, and you must be in the chat to win. Printed rules and instructions will be found in the description of this video. Good luck and happy commenting. All right, gang. Those were our commercials. John, welcome back. We had some great commercials there, gang. I just want to go ahead and break kayfabe for just a moment and let everybody know that I had to spin that wheel 4 times to make it land on Carson, just to pop the great legend when he watches this video. So a little bit of behind the scenes info. Got a lot of positive feedback here on the commercials and on C Woodard 19 Dare Defy. And you guys make sure you go and check out the Mainframe Comic Con, MainframeComicCon.com. That is also in the description below, as well as a link to their Instagram. Go follow them for all of their announcements. There's some great stuff coming. Trust us. Great stuff coming from Mainframe. All right, gang, we're going to get back into the segments. And I know that everybody is trapped at home. Everybody's trying to do their best to be responsible and do the social distancing thing. And sometimes you get bored and you want to see some great entertainment. Well, I'm going to talk today about my top 5 binge-worthy comic book television shows. Number 5, The Walking Dead. Now, folks, say what you will about The Walking Dead. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, but it's also had 2 series that have run for like 13 combined seasons at this point. The new season's coming up. There's still stories left to be told, and it's totally binge worthy. You'll put it on, you'll be through season 3 before you know it. And then you're going to be like, what? Damn, it's only been 2 days. And then you're going to watch the next couple seasons. And then you're going to go outside and you're going to be ready for the apocalypse that awaits when this whole thing doesn't just blow over. Right. So you're going to be ready and you're going to be armed and you're going to have all the tricks of the trade. This was some really great television. Yes, there were some down seasons, but there were also really great episodes within those down seasons. Fantastic production value, great special effects for a cable television show. And man, yeah, it just became just a zombie kill spree towards the middle of it. And everything was depressing and terrible, but then it got better. And now it's a different show. I think it's worth revisiting those seasons. And it's definitely worth checking out Fear the Walking Dead if you haven't yet. I'm just saying, like, if you like zombies, man, 13 seasons of television, don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that at all. Number 4, Legion. Holy guacamole, man. It's on Hulu now. You don't even have to worry about finding a place to stream it. For the 2nd and 3rd season, it was hard to find it on demand. You could always buy the episodes, but like, I don't do that. This is probably the best thing X-Men related in film or television that they've ever done, and that includes the Logan movie. If you haven't taken the time to check out Legion, it's brought to you by the same showrunner that brings you the Fargo TV show. Yeah. So you're looking at quality right there. The cast is absolutely phenomenal. A bunch of no names that I would watch do anything at this point. Really, really great storytelling. You got what's his name from the Flight of the Conchords? Jermaine Clement is in it, and he's been taken over by the Shadow King. It's just like really great heady television with strange Bollywood style dance numbers, and I know that sounds weird, but watch it.
It's so good. I can't. Yeah, I'm so pumped this made your list because it is one of my all-time favorite comic book TV series. And it's is it done? Because I don't know that they've finished.
It's done.
Okay. That's
3 seasons and then it was canceled. But so is Gifted, and that's no big loss. Legion, it kind of wrapped up. I like the way it ended, and I think that each of those seasons could have ended and been like, oh, we don't really need more of it. We kind of set somewhere up to go, but it was definitely pretty self-contained.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So perfect pick, amazing pick. And my
Number 3, The Boys. Too much production. We're moving on, John. We're talking about The Boys. Okay, we're going to talk about The Boys because The Boys is phenomenal. This is Chad Ramsden's favorite comic book, his favorite series. Season 2 is coming up. You can binge all of season 1 in one afternoon, evening into late night snack period. It's phenomenal. It's everything that you want from an ultra violent parody of superheroes. It's Watchmen meets happy tree friends. It's just really great. The cast is phenomenal. The costuming is great. The special effects are perfect. Everything is done on the right level. And yeah, man, I can't wait for more of The Boys. Did you watch The Boys?
Oh yeah. It was great.
I'm excited for season 2.
Twisted.
Definitely twisted. Number 2, Daredevil. Now, before our number 1 pick came out, and we're not going to spoil it, we're just going to talk about Daredevil for a minute. But before our number 1 pick came out, there was no more masterful representation of a superhero, their comic issues, their villains, their costume, the world that they live in, than Daredevil. Daredevil was so freaking good. So good. The Punisher was in Daredevil in season 2, and it was just mind-numbingly good. Like I started drooling, and I thought that I was going to have to eat pudding the rest of my life, being fed to me by somebody with a spoon, and that person didn't want to be there, and they're being paid by the state because I'm not independently wealthy, so I'm going to get treated like shit when I'm in a vegetative state. But it was so good. It was so good. The hallway fight, the prison fight, the Fisk fight at the end of season 1, the fact that season 3 was so great, the fact that they're talking about doing season 4 on Disney Plus now with the same cast. Matt Murdock is going to end up being in the new Spider-Man movie. Spoiler alert, or not spoiler alert if people are wrong about that. I don't know. I don't report the news. I just react to it. Tell you what, guys, if you haven't watched Daredevil yet, watch Daredevil.
And I will say that the way they captured the Punisher here and moved him to his own show, it worked so beautifully. His monologue that he gives like 2-3 monologues in that season that I'm just like, dang, that is killer. Just so
perfect casting.
Acted. Yeah.
Perfect casting. And I'll tell you what, the rest of the Netflix universe kind of gets its detractors. But even the worst Netflix Marvel show is way better than any of that trash on the CW. Just saying. And number 1, Watchmen. How in the world does Damon Lindelof, a guy famous for not being able to pay off mysteries? I know, I love Lost too. Settle down. I would have made this list if it was actually a comic. But how does Damon Lindelof take the greatest comic book of all time? Not up for debate. It's not up for debate. It's not. This is my show. Say what you want in the chat. John's watching the chat. I'm watching my production. Tell John what you think about how wrong I am. Greatest comic book of all time. Guy who can't pay anything off. Never finishes stories well. Finds a way to take the greatest comic book of all time. Give it a sequel that is on par with the original. They find a way to give you so little information that when they finally give you information, I'm like, oh, they fucking jumped the shark. Right? But then the next issue comes, the next episode, and not only did they jump a shark, they jumped every shark that they possibly could find. And then they nailed it. They nailed the landing.
They went out and they got all the sharks. They lined them all up.
And it's just absolutely perfect. The casting is so good. The tertiary characters in this, like the superhero cops, they're all hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the one chick, Pirate Jenny. She's just got like a pirate outfit on. Pirate Jenny. What the hell is that? It's so dumb, but it's so great at the same time. Yeah. The way they work in the original graphic novel and the characters from that original graphic novel to give them a retconned reimagining of their origin that was never fleshed out is just pitch perfect, and probably one of the greatest episodes. That memory flashback crazy episode might be my favorite episode of television that I've ever seen.
I would totally agree with that. It was easily the hour that made me say, I can't believe that nobody else is, that there are so few people watching this right now, that there are not more people. You've basically made the legend go through a roller coaster of emotion between picking this as your number 1 and
let me go ahead and check out that chat before you move on.
When you bash the CW, he's like, I'm gonna choke slam you. No one bashes the CW, although Watchmen was the best.
Man, This series was way better than anybody thought it would be. It's better than the movie. It's better than Doomsday Clock. I think it's better than the Before Watchmen books. Outside of that graphic novel, this is the best representation of the name of the Watchmen. A lot of people were complaining that it was too political, but go back and read the Watchmen, dummies. That was the most political book I think I've ever read.
How do you show respect to the original without that?
Right. Where would the world be after this situation? This is exactly what would have happened. It wasn't exactly what I would have said would happen in my own mind, but yeah, it fits. It fits, man. It's absolutely great. And it's our number one binge-worthy television series based on a comic book for this week's countdown. We're going to go ahead and move on to some new segments. Okay. Well, it's not a new segment. It's the same old segment. It's the segment that gets you a chance to win some free comic books as described in our giveaway. And that is the question of the day. Which comic book should be adapted into a TV series? John, I know that there's a lot of comics that have been optioned and never went anywhere. There have been a lot of comic books that got one season and then they never went anywhere. There's been a lot of talk about different books here and there that should be adapted into a series. I want to know, what show do you want to watch on a weekly basis based on a comic book story?
There's almost no option for me but this one, and it's 100 Bullets. I think it would be a phenomenal TV series. The graphic novels, if you read them that way, they're designed to be like separate stories. You could easily take a graphic novel and do a season, and do a graphic novel and do a season, and that show would be epic. And I would love to see that morality tale of this year, a new person gets a briefcase with 100 bullets and the chance to get revenge on somebody who messed up their life. What do they do with it? And then what crazy crap happens during that season? And then the next season, hey, here come our new characters getting their briefcase, and what happens to them? And little by little, their stories start to intertwine, and you start to see the relationships between characters, and it builds towards something awesome. I would just absolutely adore a 100 Bullets show.
That is a fantastic answer, John, with really well thought out reasons behind it. I want a Saga TV show because they can't tell the story in a movie.
Never. Yeah, wouldn't work.
And everybody's like, oh, well, Saga, it's going to be hard, big budget, blah, blah. Westworld does it. You're going to tell me that Saga can't get a Westworld budget?
Game of Thrones? It would basically be the same huge fan following and the same budget style for sure.
I don't think that mainstream non-comic book reading America knows what the hell they're missing. I think that is something that would set the world on fire in a way that very few other properties could. Absolutely. Now, there's a couple really great suggestions in the chat, and I'm going to shout out the Great Legend, because he's the one that introduced this book to me. But Cullen Bunn's The Sixth Gun is fantastic. I think that it would work great as like an American anime. I think that we are ready as a populace for an American Western-based adult-style cartoon series. We're ready for it. I think Harley Quinn on the DC Universe app is fantastic for what it is, but it's still a little cartoony. But that's kind of the way that book goes. So I get that. But Sixth Gun, I think, would just a high energy. The art is so phenomenal. I would want that art that has that kind of classic comic book feel to it to just kind of live in that way on the screen.
Totally.
Gideon Falls has been greenlighted or greenlit. That's how you say that word properly without sounding like a absolute moron. We talked to Jeff Lemire in Baltimore, and he was talking about it. James Wan as an executive, where that would be really cool. Firefly is now a comic that should be made back into a TV show. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Somebody mentioned Oblivion Song. I think it was Gomez.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't find it now.
I love Gideon's song. Oblivion song. I don't know if it's been around long enough to guarantee a real good run. You'd run into the Game of Thrones problem of beating the book, and now you're like,
yeah, you'd run into that same Kirkman problem that he's got on Walking Dead, where he's like, well, I can't cut off the lead's hand. That's too much CG every episode.
Right. So I would, but I'd love to see an Oblivion song show. That'd be awesome.
That would be phenomenal. Guys, a lot of great ideas in this chat. Fantastic amount of ideas. We had some great ideas on this panel between the two of us. But let me know what your ideas are in the comments below on this video. And then you can go to any of the other Comic Core Daily videos. There's a playlist. It's easy to find. And then you can let me know there what you thought of that, the question of that day. And then I'm going to add all those up by the 24th, and right before MainframeComicCon, we're going to go live on the Comic Core for Roundtable, and we're going to spin that wheel. And Carson's not going to win this time. Took me 4 times to get him to win the first time. He's not going to win this time. Also, before we get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and give out some shout outs to the rest of the channel. Andy's got a show on Thursday night, guys. We're calling it Andy Given Thursday. At least he was calling it that, and I was calling it that. And then he said in the chat today, can I change the name of the show? I'm like, sure, I already filmed a commercial for you, Andy, you ungrateful. No, I didn't say that at all. I said, Andy, it's your show. Change the name if you want. So we might have to film another commercial spot. I'm just going to change the name in the one that I have right now. I saved the whole project. It's not going to take any work whatsoever because that's the way I like to operate. Yeah. Okay, so before we get out of here, we're going to shout out Modern Men because that's my favorite show to do every week, and that's on Mondays. We read a book, and you guys get to pick which book. You have until tomorrow night when Andy goes live to vote in the poll. This is not an accurate representation of the poll at the moment. Donny Cates' God Country has pulled ahead by quite a large margin.
Yes.
I told them go ahead, and it's a foregone conclusion. Go ahead and order your copies.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Red Sun is falling apart.
Hey man, it's Superman. He's got his he's got his key voters, and they get in early, and then it goes away. I was very surprised that we ended up doing Death of Superman. People don't tend to like the Superman stuff. But I think that everybody's gonna have a good time with Donny Cates' God Country. I think is Daredevil. Is that in second right now?
It is, yeah. You got it.
Cool, because I want it on the poll for next week. I think it'll be a great one to read again. I do have those issues, and I'm excited about it. But if you guys vote in the poll on the community tab of the Comic Core, and then you go in the comments of that poll, and you tell me why you voted the way you voted, you'll get 5 entries, which is a weekly way for you to gain 5 extra entries for the giveaway for comics. Free comics, folks. All the rules are in the description of the video below. John, I know Alec's off today.
He is, yeah.
And you do 2 shows with Alec on Wednesday.
I'm flying free.
No beard to hold you down.
Unfettered.
Yeah. So what do you got going on today?
Well, we're doing greatest comic book show ever without him. We got some great topics about YouTube rabbit holes that we've gone down in quarantine. Oh, I found that video, which led me to this video. We're going to shout out some crazy wackadoo YouTube. If you're looking for stuff to fill the void, we got you covered. And then I'm talking Why the Last Man with my boy Edwin the Comic Jabroni, because he just read it for the very first time last week. And he's like, dude, I'm tripping over this. And I'm like, hey, I love it. I'm happy to talk Why the Last Man. So we're doing the first 10 issues tonight.
That's awesome. Fans of Why the Last Man and fans of getting your voids filled, check out John's Comics with Kids. Thanks for stopping by, John. Guys, I got a last little bit for you before I go home. We got some credits, gang. I got some credits for you. I threw some credits together, and I want you to enjoy the credits. See y'all later. Hey, gang, make sure you hit that subscription button there. Give this video a thumbs up. And make sure you hit that notification bell. Always going live. And check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.